take a second and just from the bottom of my heart say thanks. So for those of you who don't know or not aware, this is Pastor Appreciation Month. And so many of you have sent cards, have sent gifts, and just expressed to us in many, many different ways how you appreciate, me and my family being here. And we're extremely touched and grateful for that even in this short period of time, how you've embraced us and are showing your love and support for us, especially in this interesting time we live in, and a lot of difficult decisions having to be made or things like that. And so we just want to thank you for just how much love you've shown us, me and my family. And so we're just grateful for that. So I just wanted to take a moment before October ends just to express to you how much we appreciate you guys and love you all. So with that said, we are in week 2, reviewing week 2. This week's will be in our 3rd week of 5 weeks. In the series we're calling Second Chances. We're looking at the minor prophet of Jonah. It is like 3 pages long, okay? 4 chapters, and it's pretty brief. But I think that, to me, the reason I was so excited about this series, and to be honest, it hasn't turned out the way I hoped it would, in the sense that I was preaching it to a camera again. And I think to me that was very frustrating because I think God wanted to do something in this time. And I'm not saying he couldn't do it through the camera, but it affects the way things are presented and just the flow of it and the Spirit moving when I'm talking to a camera. And so, but in this series, the intention was to talk about God giving us a second chance, and talking about indicators of how we have turned from God, whether we have intentionally turned from God and we are not believers anymore, and how we can turn back to God, how we intentionally, even if we are believers in God, believing in God is only part of the equation, okay? It should change how you live in every single way. And so, so that's what this series is really about. And Jonah is known as a prophet that rebels. A prophet typically listens to God, tells the people what God wanted him to say. And Jonah doesn't do that. He instead goes, this is the direction you want me to go. I'm going to go as far from that direction as possible. And so he runs. And so we talked about the first week, and then we talked about this last week. We talked about this spiritually being asleep. He's underneath in the boat, under the deck, and he's asleep. He doesn't realize that this storm was sent for him. It's a big deal, because even the captain, even the other crew on the ship knew this storm was sent for someone. They cast lots to discover who that was. Jonah didn't see it, but someone who was not a Christian, not a believer, did see that the storm was for them. And the other thing we talked about is that our storms, our choices, our disobedience to God, our sin, it affects other people. It can affect other people. He wasn't alone in this storm. Others could have died because of him. And that's important for us to realize, is that our choices may affect someone else. And we have to be very, very aware of that. And so Jonah took a bit before he realized his poor choices were going to affect others, and that the storm was sent for him, and that he had to realize that for the storm to stop. And so that's kind of, in a nutshell, what we talked about this past week. This coming week, week 3 of this series, I'm excited because chapter 2 of Jonah is about prayer. Jonah has a choice to make, and he has to pray. And I think right now, that's exactly what we need to do in our current situation, and potentially for many of us in our personal lives, but even us as a corporate, even in our community, as our country and our nation faces tremendous obstacles. We need to do what Jonah did, and that's pray. And so we're going to talk about that this coming Sunday. So, and we're not going to just talk about it. Actually, I'm really feeling like my message might be shrunk up a bit, and we might just say, you know what, we know, let's stop talking about something and let's actually do what we should do, and that's pray. And so maybe we're going to do some unconventional things and pray. So we'll see what God does this Sunday. So first, thank you so much for your support and love of me and my family. And secondly, thank you for tuning into this week's review. And we hope to see you this coming Sunday. If you have not watched the last 2 weeks, catch up on those before Sunday. You're not going to want to miss this coming Sunday. Love you guys.